Times Square, New York City. November 25th, 2:47 p.m. The first thing Rimuru noticed was the silence. Not the absence of sound. Times Square roared with noise, thousands of voices blending into a constant hum, but the silence beneath it. The magicules that normally saturated the air, that he breathed like oxygen, were gone. The world felt hollow, empty. The second thing he noticed was that he was falling. "Great Sage!" Rimuru's mental voice cracked with panic. "What happened? Where's the—" Notice. Dimensional transfer complete. Current location, unknown world. Magicule density, 0.003% of Jura Tempest baseline. Warning, insufficient energy for immediate return. Rimuru's human form blurred. Instinct took over, slime physiology asserting itself as the ground rushed up to meet him. His body dispersed into translucent blue gel, spreading wide to catch the air, to slow the... He hit something. Not the ground. A massive electronic billboard, 70 feet above the street, blazing with the image of a blonde man in an American flag suit. The man's smile was perfect. Too perfect. Like it had been carved into his face with a knife. Bold letters proclaimed, "Homelander, America's greatest hero, brought to you by Vought International." Rimuru's slime body absorbed the impact, wrapping around the structure. For a moment, he clung there, reforming his human shape while his mind raced. Vought? Heroes? What kind of place is this? Below, the crowd's roar changed pitch. Screams, gasps, phones raised toward the sky like a forest of black mirrors. "Oh my God, did you see that? Is this part of the parade? Someone call 911. Wait, I think it's a new soup." Rimuru looked down. Hundreds of humans packed the street, many wearing festive clothing, waving at enormous floating balloons shaped like cartoon characters. A parade. He'd landed in the middle of some kind of celebration. And every single person was recording him. "Great Sage, analysis. Where am I?" Analysis. Technology level significantly advanced compared to Jura Tempest Federation. No magical signatures detected. Human population density extreme. Electromagnetic radiation permeating environment. Recommendation: gather information before revealing full capabilities. Good advice. Rimuru let his human form solidify completely. Blue hair, golden eyes, simple black jacket and pants. He stepped off the billboard onto a narrow maintenance platform, surveying the alien landscape. Buildings of glass and steel stretched toward the sky, taller than any structure in his world. Vehicles crowded the streets, horseless carriages that moved on their own. The air tasted of smoke and something chemical. And those phones, those cameras, everyone had one, all pointed at him. A low hum built in the distance, growing louder, familiar somehow. Rimuru's danger sense flared half a second before the figure appeared. The man materialized on the platform beside him in a blur of motion, too fast for normal human perception. He wore a skin-tight blue suit with lightning bolt designs, his dark skin glistening with sweat. Young, mid-20s maybe, with an easy smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "Yo, yo, yo!" The speedster held up both hands in a placating gesture. "Easy there, new guy. I'm A-Train, member of the Seven. You're gonna want to come with me. Vaught's got questions about your little stunt." Rimuru blinked. "The Seven? Vought? I'm sorry, I don't—" Yeah, nobody knows what they're doing their first time, I get it." A-Train's smile widened, but his posture was tense, ready to move. "Look, you seem chill, but you just dropped into the middle of the Macy's Thanksgiving parade. That's like a national event. So we're gonna need you to come down, answer some questions, maybe sign some paperwork. All very routine." "I don't need paperwork." Rimuru stepped back, assessing. The man was fast, incredibly fast, maybe faster than Benimaru at full speed. But there was something off about him. His heartbeat was too rapid, his pupils slightly dilated. Enhanced metabolism, or drugs. "I'm looking for a way home. If you could just point me toward—" The air cracked. Rimuru's head snapped up as a figure descended from the sky, blue cape billowing behind him. The man from the billboard. Homelander. He landed on the platform with enough force to dent the metal, arms crossed, that carved smile fixed on his face. Up close, he was worse. The smile didn't move, didn't waver. It just existed, independent of the cold blue eyes that scanned Rimuru from head to toe. The man radiated power, yes, but also something else. Something that made Rimuru's slime body instinctively want to retreat. Danger, his instincts screamed. Predator. Unstable predator. Well, well, Homelander's voice was rich, smiled. Ooth, made for television. What do we have here? A new face in the Big Apple? I don't remember Vought announcing any fresh talent. Rimuru felt something wash over him, a tingling sensation, like being studied under a microscope. Homelander's eyes were glowing faintly, and that wrongness intensified. Was he looking through Rimuru? Homelander's smile twitched, just slightly. That's interesting. The hero's voice lost a fraction of its warmth. Train, call it in. Tell Madeline we've got a situation. What kind of situation? Rimuru asked carefully. His own danger sense was screaming now. Whatever this Homelander was, he wasn't entirely human. Enhanced, modified, and very, very dangerous. The kind where someone shows up unannounced in my city with an unknown power set. Homelander's head tilted, and Rimuru saw something flicker behind those blue eyes. Calculation, threat assessment. See, I can usually tell what someone is made of. But you're not registering right. It's like looking at Jell-O with a nervous system, so I'm gonna need you to explain very clearly what the fuck you are. The smile never wavered. Below, the crowd had swelled. More phones, more cameras. Rimuru could hear police sirens now, and more of that humming sound. Helicopters, his mind supplied, though he'd only seen illustrations. 2 more figures landed on the platform. A woman in armor with a sword. Queen Maeve, the deep, perfect timing. Homelander didn't look at them. His eyes stayed locked on Rimuru. Our new friend here was just about to explain why he's not in the Vought database. Weren't you, friend? Rimuru's mind raced. Great Sage was feeding him information, power readings, threat levels, escape routes. He could leave. Right now. Transform, fly, phase through dimensions if he pushed hard enough. But these people thought he was supposed to be here, thought he was part of their world. And that crowd below, they were watching everything, recording everything. If he ran, what would they think? What would these heroes do to find him? Information first, he decided. Then, escape if necessary. My name is Rimuru Tempest, he said clearly, loud enough for the cameras below. I'm not from your world. I was conducting a magical experiment that went wrong and I ended up here. I mean no harm. I just want to find a way home. A-Train laughed. Magical experiment? Bro, that's the wildest origin story I've heard since... He's not lying. Homelander's voice cut through the air like glass. His glowing eyes intensified. Or he believes he's not lying, which is almost worse. The hero floated up slightly, cape rippling. Magic. Dimensional travel. That's a new one for the PR team to spin. Rimuru tensed. I don't need your PR team. I need... What you need, Homelander interrupted, voice still friendly, still warm, still absolutely terrifying, is to come with us. Vought Tower, nice and peaceful. We'll get you sorted out, figure out your deal, and everyone goes home happy. Sound good? It wasn't a request. Rimuru looked at the heroes surrounding him, at the crowd below, at the alien city stretching in all directions. Great Sage confirmed what he already knew. Insufficient energy to force a dimensional jump. He was stuck here, at least for now. And these people, these heroes, they controlled this world. All right, Rimuru said finally. I'll come with you, but I'm not a prisoner. Homelander's smile widened. Of course not. You're our guest. The flight to Vought Tower took 3 minutes. Homelander carried Rimuru personally, one hand gripping his shoulder with enough pressure to crush bone. Would have crushed bone if Rimuru were actually human. Instead, his slime body simply compressed and reformed, adjusting to the grip without resistance. Homelander noticed. His fingers tightened incrementally, testing. Rimuru didn't react. Below, Manhattan sprawled like a circuit board, millions of lights beginning to flicker on as afternoon faded toward evening. The scale was overwhelming. His capital city of Rimuru could fit in a single district of this place. How many people lived here? 10 million? 20? First time flying? Homelander asked conversationally. No, Rimuru watched the city pass beneath them. But first time being carried. Homelander's grip shifted. You don't seem scared. Should I be? The hero's laugh was cold. Most people are. Of me. Vought Tower rose ahead, a gleaming spire of glass and steel that dominated the skyline. Massive screens on its surface displayed rotating images. The Seven in heroic poses, Homelander's face, product advertisements. As they approached, Rimuru noticed something strange about the building's top floors. They were darker, more private, less glass, more secrets. They landed on a private helipad. Queen Maeve and the Deep arrived seconds later, while A-Train simply appeared, having run up the building's exterior. The speedster wasn't even breathing hard. This way. Homelander released Rimuru and gestured toward an entrance. His smile had returned to its default setting, warm, friendly, completely false. We've got a suite prepared, very comfortable. You'll like it. The interior matched the exterior, all gleaming surfaces and corporate minimalism. Employees in expensive suits hurried past, most avoiding eye contact with the Seven. Fear? Respect? Rimuru couldn't tell. They took an elevator that moved so smoothly Rimuru barely felt the motion, rising to a floor labeled simply, Executive Level, Authorized Personnel Only. The doors opened onto a conference room that looked like it cost more than Rimuru's entire treasury. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city. A curved table dominated the space, surrounded by leather chairs. Screens covered one wall, currently dark. Please, sit. A woman entered from a side door, her smile somehow warmer than Homelander's, but no more genuine. Mid-30s, immaculate business attire, eyes that calculated everything. Mr. Tempest, is it? I'm Madeline Stillwell, Senior Vice President of Hero Management at Vought International. Welcome to New York. Rimuru remained standing. I appreciate the hospitality, but I'd like to know what you want from me. Direct. I like that. Stillwell gestured, and the wall screens activated, showing footage of Rimuru's arrival from dozens of angles. Professional cameras, phone recordings, satellite imagery. You made quite an entrance. 47 million views in the last hour, trending #1 worldwide. I didn't mean to. Oh, we know. Stillwell's smile never wavered, which is actually refreshing. Most soups would kill for that kind of organic engagement. She touched a tablet, and the screens shifted to news coverage. Headlines scrolled past. Mysterious new soupe crashes parade. Who is the blue-haired stranger? Vought silent on latest Seven candidate. I'm not a candidate for anything, Rimuru said carefully. I told them, I'm from another world. This was an accident. Yes, about that. Stillwell sat, crossing her legs. Dimensional travel. Magic. Very creative. Our analytics team thinks it could play really well with the 1835 demo. Kind of a mystical angle, you know? Different from the usual super strength, super speed routine. Rimuru stared at her. You think I'm lying? I think you believe what you're saying. Stillwell's tone was gentle, almost motherly. But Mr. Tempest, we've been managing superheroes for decades. We know Compound Vive creates extraordinary abilities. Sometimes those abilities affect the mind, create false memories, delusions of grandeur. Compound V? Rimuru glanced at Great Sage's analysis. What's that? Homelander, leaning against the wall with arms crossed, laughed. Oh, this is good. He doesn't even know the basics. Compound V is what makes soups super, Stillwell explained. It's a serum developed by Vought that grants superhuman abilities. Every hero in America got their powers from it, including you, presumably. I didn't get my powers from any serum. Rimuru felt his patience thinning. I'm a slime, a monster. I evolved. A slime? The Deep spoke up for the first time, his voice uncertain. Like, literally? Rimuru's form rippled. His human shape dissolved, reforming into his true body. Inside, a complex network of magical circuits pulsed with faint light. The room went silent. Holy shit, A-Train whispered. Homelander pushed off the wall, eyes glowing brighter. What the fuck? I told you. Rimuru's voice emanated from the slime body, unchanged. I'm not from your world. I'm not human. Never was. He reformed his human shape, settling back into the familiar form. In my world, monsters can evolve, gain power, even build civilizations. I rule a nation of them, the Tempest Federation. Stillwell's expression didn't change, but Rimuru saw her hand tighten on her tablet. That's quite a demonstration. Very impressive control over your molecular structure. It's not molecular structure, it's magic. Magic, right? Stillwell stood, smoothing her skirt. Mr. Tempest, I'm going to be honest with you. Whether you're from another dimension or you're a uniquely powerful soup with some kind of psychosis, the result is the same. You're here, you're powerful, and you need to be registered. Registered? All soups in America are registered with Vought and the federal government for public safety, you understand? She pulled up a document on the screens, dense legal text. It's very simple. You sign the agreement, we assign you a hero name, build your brand, and you join our roster. Salary starts at $2 million a year, plus merchandising rights, appearance fees. I don't want money. Rimuru cut her off. I want to go home. And we want to help you do that, Stillwell said smoothly. But until we figure out how, you need legal status. Otherwise, you're an unregistered soup engaging in vigilante activity. That's a federal crime. Do you want to be a criminal, Mr. Tempest? The threat was soft, cushioned in concern, but unmistakable. Rimuru looked at Homelander. The hero was watching him with those cold blue eyes, smile fixed in place. Queen Maeve stood by the window, deliberately not making eye contact. A-Train fidgeted, nervous energy barely contained. The Deep looked confused, like he wasn't sure why he was even in the room. I need to think about this, Rimuru said finally. Of course. Stillwell gestured to the door. We've prepared a suite for you. Top floor. Anything you need, just ask. Consider it our hospitality while you adjust. A gilded cage, Rimuru thought. She's very good at making prisons sound like hotels. One thing, he said as they moved toward the elevator. You mentioned Compound Phi is in every hero's blood. May I see a sample? I'm curious about the biological mechanism. Stillwell's smile brightened. Absolutely. Scientific curiosity. I love it. We'll have our medical team prepare something. She touched her tablet. Actually, would you mind providing a blood sample? Just for our records. Standard procedure for all soups. Rimuru paused. Great Sage's warning flickered through his mind. Caution. Unknown biological material could reveal vulnerabilities. Recommend minimal exposure. But he needed information, and if they thank you. Rimuru waited until the man left, then immediately began his own analysis. Great Sage, scan the room. Analysis complete. 17 surveillance devices detected. 12 cameras. 5 audio recording units. All active. Recommendation. Assume all activities are monitored. Of course they were watching. Rimuru moved to the window, looking out at the city. Somewhere down there, that van was parked. Who were they? Government? Rival corporation? Or something else? A knock at the door interrupted his thoughts. The medical team arrived with equipment, portable analyzers, sterile collection kits, a woman in a white coat who introduced herself as Dr. Park. She was professional, efficient, and sweating slightly despite the room's controlled temperature. "This won't take long," she assured him, preparing a needle. "Just a standard blood draw." "Of course." Rimuru extended his arm, watching as she tied off a tourniquet and searched for a vein. She found one, inserted the needle, and nothing. Dr. Park frowned, adjusted the angle, tried again. The needle bent against Rimuru's skin, refusing to penetrate. "That's unusual." She pulled back, examining the needle. "Your skin density must be here." Rimuru concentrated, temporarily softening a section of his arm. "Try now." This time the needle slid in smoothly. Dr. Park drew 3 vials of blue-tinted blood, her hands trembling slightly as she labeled them. "And the compound V sample?" Rimuru asked. She hesitated, glancing at the cameras, then pulled a small vial from her kit. Clear liquid with a faint, bluish glow. "This is a diluted sample. The pure stuff is highly controlled." Rimuru took it carefully. Even through the glass, he could sense something wrong about the liquid. It felt artificial, forced. "May I?" He gestured to her portable analyzer. Dr. Park set up the equipment while Rimuru prepared both samples, a drop of the compound V and a drop of his own blood. The machine hummed to life, screens displaying molecular structures. What Rimuru saw made his stomach turn. "Great Sage, confirm analysis." Confirmed. Substance designated compound V is a genetic modification serum of extreme complexity. Primary function: forcible mutation of human DNA. Side effects: unpredictable, potentially fatal. Success rate in adults estimated 30 to 40%. In children, higher integration but severe psychological complications detected in residual signatures. They do this to children? The compound V's structure was elegant, in a horrifying way. It didn't grant powers naturally. It shattered human genetic code and rebuilt it into something new. Something unstable. Rimuru could see the fracture lines in the molecular structure, the places where the human body fought against the foreign invasion. And his own blood sample. Dr. Park stared at the screen, face pale. That's not possible." Rimuru's blood showed no DNA, no cells, just a complex matrix of energy and compressed information that the machine couldn't categorize. The analyzer kept throwing error codes, trying and failing to classify what it was seeing. "What are you?" Dr. Park whispered. "Not human." Rimuru met her eyes. "And not created by your compound V. I told you, I'm from another world." She reached for her phone, hands shaking. "I need to call Ms. Stillwell." "Wait." Rimuru's voice was gentle but firm. "Please, just tell me. Do all your heroes have this in their blood? This compound 5? Dr. Park's finger hovered over the call button. Professional protocol warred with something else in her expression. Fear? Curiosity? Finally, she lowered the phone. "Yes," she said quietly. "Every single one. Vought developed it 70 years ago. It's the foundation of the entire superhero industry." She glanced at the cameras, then back to Rimuru. "The public doesn't know. They think powers are natural, random, God-given. But they're not. They're manufactured." Dr. Park began packing her equipment, movements rushed. "I really need to report this, Mr. Tempest. Your biology is completely unknown. It could be dangerous. I'm not dangerous to you." Rimuru handed back the compound V vial. "But your compound V is dangerous to everyone who takes it. The instability in the molecular structure, the psychological damage, the mortality rate." "How do you know about the mortality rate?" Dr. Park's voice dropped to a whisper. "That's classified. I can see it. In the structure itself." Rimuru looked at his own blood sample on the screen. "In my world, we have ways of granting power safely. Evolution, naming, blessing. But this, is violence. Genetic violence. Dr. Park stared at him for a long moment. Then she grabbed the vials of his blood, stuffed them in her kit, and headed for the door. "I'll tell Missin Stillwell your biology is unusual but stable," she said without looking back. "Beyond that, I don't know what you are, Mr. Tempest, but I hope you're telling the truth. Because if you're not, and you're actually dangerous..." She paused at the threshold. "Homelander will kill you, and nothing in this world can stop him." The door closed. Rimuru stood alone in the vast monitored suite, processing what he'd learned. These heroes, they were all artificial, created, controlled. The entire system was built on a lie, on manufacturing gods and selling them to the public. And Homelander, the strongest of them all, knew he was a product, knew he was made, not born. No wonder he's so unstable, Rimuru thought. He's a weapon that thinks it's a god. His phone, they'd given him one, already set up, buzzed. "Unknown number, text message. We saw you arrive, not Vought. Need to talk. Roof access, building across street, midnight. Come alone. We know what Vought really is." Rimuru looked at the cameras, at the luxury surrounding him, at the city beyond the windows. Someone else was watching indeed, and they wanted to help him understand what he'd stumbled into. A younger man with curly hair and nervous energy, a bald man built like a linebacker wearing a Hawaii shirt, a Frenchman with a wild grin and wilder hair, and a woman, Asian, petite, moving with predatory grace. She didn't speak, but her eyes tracked Rimuru's every movement. "Cozy little setup Vaught's got you in," the bearded man continued. "Suite 72, minibar, room service, view of the city, real nice prison cell." "You're the ones watching from the van," Rimuru said. "Smart boy." The man pulled out a silver flask, took a swig. "Name's Billy Butcher. This here's Huey, mother's milk, call him MM, Frenchie, and Kimiko. We're what you might call concerned citizens." "Concerned with what?" "With the fact that Vought International is a corrupt, murderous corporation that manufactures superheroes like action figures and sells them to the highest bidder." Butcher's smile was sharp. "But you already knew that, didn't you? Saw it in your blood test." Rimuru went still. "How do you know about..." "We got eyes everywhere, mate, including in Vaught's medical division." Butcher gestured to Frenchie, who pulled out a tablet. "Dr. Park sent us her preliminary analysis before Stillwell could bury it. You're not human, not even close. And you're definitely not hopped up on Compound 5. The tablet screen showed Rimuru's blood analysis, the same impossible readings that had terrified Dr. Park. "Which means," MM added, arms crossed, "either you're telling the truth about being from another dimension, or you're something even worse that Vought cooked up in a lab." "I'm telling the truth." Rimuru looked at each of them in turn. "I don't belong here. I'm trying to find a way home." "Yeah, well, good fucking luck with that." Butcher took another drink. "But while you're stuck here, you might want to know what kind of world you landed in." Huey stepped forward, pulling out his phone. His hands trembled slightly as he scrolled through photos. "This is Robin. Was Robin, my girlfriend." The image showed a young woman, smiling, vibrant. 3 weeks ago, a train ran through her, literally through her, going so fast she exploded. And you know what Vought did? Rimuru's expression darkened. "They paid me off," Huey continued, voice bitter. $45,000, made me sign an NDA, told me it was a tragic accident and that A-Train felt terrible about it. He looked up, eyes wet. He was high on Compound Vi, running to a party. He didn't even stop, didn't even look back. "Vought covers it up," MM said. "Every death, every assault, every crime their soups commit. They control the media, the politicians, the courts. They're not a hero company. They're a protection racket with better PR." Frenchie leaned against an air conditioning unit, grinning without humor. "And the heroes themselves? Psychopaths, narcissists, addicts, the 7 especially. Homelander has killed at least 40 people we know of. The Deep is a sexual predator. A-Train deals V on the side. Queen Maeve drinks herself unconscious most nights. But everyone loves them, Butcher finished. Because Vought makes sure everyone loves them. Movies, shows, toys, theme parks. They've turned heroism into a product, and people eat it up. Rimuru processed this, comparing it to what he'd seen. Homelander's cold eyes, Stillwell's calculating smile, the artificial nature of Compound 5 itself. The pieces fit together into an ugly picture. You want to take them, which is where you come in, maybe. Butcher studied Rimuru with those hard eyes. You're powerful. Really powerful. Homelander's X-ray vision couldn't figure you out. That alone makes you interesting. And you're not part of their system. You don't owe Vought shit. You want me to fight for you. I want you to fight for what's right, Huey said. These people deserve justice. Robin deserved justice. All the people Vaught's hurt and buried. They deserve the truth. Kimiko signed something rapidly. Frenchie translated. She says you have good eyes, not like the other soups. You see people, not props. Rimuru looked out over the city, thinking of his own journey. He'd been weak once, powerless. He'd built Tempest on principles of equality, of giving monsters and humans alike a chance to live in peace. He'd fought tyrants and demon lords to protect that dream. And here he was, in a world where the heroes were the tyrants. I can't stay long, he said finally. When I find a way home, I'm taking it. My people need me. Understood, said. But while I'm here, Rimuru turned back to them. I won't let innocent people suffer. If Vought is what you say it is, if these heroes are criminals hiding behind capes, then yes. I'll help you expose them. Butcher's grin widened. There we go. Now you're talking sense. But I have conditions. Rimuru's voice hardened. No unnecessary killing. No collateral damage. We do this smart, not brutal. I've seen what revenge does to people. It consumes them. Ain't about revenge, mate. Butcher's eyes went cold. It's about justice. But fine. We'll play it your way. For now. When do we start? Rimuru asked. And Butcher exchanged glances. Huey fidgeted nervously. Frenchie's grin widened. Tomorrow, Butcher said. There's a Vought facility upstate, Sage Grove Center. They call it a mental health hospital for soups who had psychotic breaks. But really? He pulled out a folder, handed it to Rimuru. It's where they test new versions of Compound V on people who can't fight back. Patients, homeless folks, whoever they can grab. Rimuru opened the folder. Photos of a sterile facility, medical reports with names redacted, and grainy security footage of people strapped to gurneys, screaming as blue liquid pumped into their veins. His hands tightened on the folder. We've been trying to get evidence for months, said, but the place is locked down tight. Security everywhere. Even if we got in, we couldn't get out with proof. Not alive. But you could, Huey added. You can phase through walls, change shape. You're perfect for infiltration. Rimuru looked at the photos again, saw the fear in those people's eyes. The same fear he'd seen in monsters when humans hunted them for sport. The same cruelty, different world. Show me everything you know about this facility, he said. We're getting those people out. Butcher's grin turned predatory. Now that's what I like to hear. Welcome to the boys, Rimuru Tempest. The facility sat 2 hours north of Manhattan, hidden behind acres of forest and chain-link fence. Rimuru crouched in the tree line, watching security patrols circle the perimeter. The building looked innocuous, modern, clean, with the Vought logo discreetly placed above the entrance. It could have been a corporate retreat, a luxury rehab center. The screaming from inside suggested otherwise. Guards change shift in 4 minutes, whispered from beside him, checking his watch. That's your window. In and out 20 minutes max. Any longer and someone notices. The evidence is in the basement, Huey added nervously. Server room, medical files, everything. Frenchie says you can download it all to this. He handed Rimuru a small drive. Just plug it into any terminal. Rimuru pocketed the drive, studying the building's layout. Great Sage had already mapped it from the blueprints the boys provided. 3 floors above ground, 2 below. The screaming was coming from sub-level 2. And the patients? Rimuru asked. Butcher's jaw tightened. If you can get them out, do it. But the evidence comes first. We need proof or Vought buries this like everything else. I can do both. Mate, you don't understand how fast this goes sideways if... Rimuru was already moving. His body dissolved into slime, flowing through the grass like water, translucent and nearly invisible in the moonlight. The fence was chain link. He passed through the gaps without slowing. A security camera swiveled toward his position, and he simply flattened himself against the ground until it passed. The building's exterior wall was concrete and steel, no gaps. Rimuru reformed into human shape, pressed his palm against the surface, and activated one of his skills. Spatial motion. The wall became permeable. He stepped through it like walking through a waterfall, emerging inside a sterile hallway. Fluorescent. Lights hummed overhead. The smell hit him immediately. Antiseptic layered over something worse. Decay. Fear. Great Sage. Locate server room. Analysis complete. Sub-level 1. East wing. Current location. Ground floor. North corridor. Recommended path. Stairwell 17 meters ahead. Rimuru moved silently down the hallway. His senses extended outward, mapping the building through vibrations and air currents. 34 people inside, most sleeping, 7 guards, 3 in medical staff, and in the basement. He passed an observation window and stopped. Inside, a teenage girl sat strapped to a chair, IV lines running into both arms. Blue liquid, compound V, dripped steadily into her veins. Her eyes were open but unfocused, mouth slack. Monitors beeped, tracking vitals that spiked erratically. A doctor made notes on a tablet, expression bored. Rimuru's hand pressed against the glass. The girl's eyes flickered toward him just for a moment. He saw recognition there, awareness, a silent plea. Help me. Focus, Rimuru muttered to himself. Evidence first, then extraction. He moved to the stairwell, descended. Sub-level 1 was colder, more industrial. The server room door had a keypad lock. Rimuru placed his hand on it, let his slime body infiltrate the mechanism, and felt the electronic tumblers. 3 seconds later, the lock clicked open. The server room was exactly what he expected. Rows of machines, blinking lights, the hum of cooling fans. Rimuru found a terminal, plugged in the drive, and let Frenchie's program do its work. Downloading, 847 files. Estimated time, 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Rimuru could do a lot in 4 minutes. He left the drive and descended to sub-level 2. The screaming was louder here. The corridor was lined with cells, reinforced doors with small windows. Through them, Rimuru saw nightmares. A man whose skin had turned to stone, cracking and bleeding. A woman suspended in midair, electricity arcing uncontrollably from her body. A child, no more than 12, whose bones had grown outside his skin. Failed experiments. People compound. 5 had broken instead of empowered. Rimuru's hands clenched into fists. In his world, he'd seen monsters. Creatures that killed and devoured. But this was worse. This was methodical, scientific. These people hadn't chosen to become monsters. They'd been made into them. Great Sage, he said quietly. Can we reverse this? Analysis. Compound V integration is partially reversible with sufficient magical intervention. Recommend. Stabilization first, then gradual removal of foreign genetic material. Success rate, 60 to 70% depending on integration depth. Time required, significant. 60%. Better than nothing. Rimuru started opening doors. The first cell held the stone-skinned man. His eyes widened in terror when Rimuru entered, and he tried to back away. "No more," he croaked. "Please, no more tests. I'm not with them." Rimuru knelt, placing a hand on the man's arm. His healing magic flowed out, seeking the compound Vi in his system, beginning the delicate work of unwinding what Vought had done. "I'm getting you out." The man gasped as the stone started to recede, revealing human skin beneath. "How? What are you?" "Someone who actually wants to heat. LP." Rimuru moved to the next cell. He worked quickly, methodically, stabilizing each patient enough to move. The woman with electricity, he grounded her charge through his own body, absorbing the excess energy. The child with external bones, he carefully restructured the growth, guided it back where it belonged. Each one took precious seconds, and the clock was ticking. Warning, download at 87%. Security patrol approaching sublevel 2. Rimuru heard boots in the stairwell. 2 guards talking casually. "Another shipment tomorrow, 20 subjects. Stillwell wants results by end of month." They rounded the corner and stopped. In front of them stood Rimuru, surrounded by a dozen freed patients, all staring with hollow, haunted eyes. The cell doors hung open. Alarms should have triggered, should have. Rimuru had disabled them. "What the fuck?" The first guard reached for his radio. Rimuru moved faster. A thread of slime shot out, wrapped around the radio, crushed it. Another thread disarmed the second guard before he could draw his weapon. Both men froze as Rimuru's form rippled, showing just a hint of his true nature. "You have 2 choices," Rimuru said quietly. "Walk away and pretend you never saw this, or try to stop me and learn exactly how much trouble you're in." The guards looked at each other, at Rimuru, at the patients he'd freed. They ran. "Smart," Rimuru muttered. He turned to the patients. "Can you all walk?" Most nodded. The child clung to the stone-skinned man who'd become a protective figure in the last few minutes. The electric woman sparked occasionally, but seemed stable. "Notice. Download complete. Security lockdown initiating in 30 seconds. We need to move. Now." Rimuru led them toward the stairwell, already planning the route, up and out, straight through the walls if necessary. The boys would have the evidence. He'd have the victims. Everyone wins, except Vought. They reached the ground floor when the alarms finally blared. Red lights strobed, metal shutters began descending over windows and exits. Rimuru heard shouts, running footsteps, the distinctive crack of weapons being readied. "Stay behind me," he told the patients. The main entrance was ahead. Through the windows he could see the boys' van pulling up, exactly as planned. Butcher behind the wheel, MM in the passenger seat, weapons ready. Then the entrance exploded inward. Not from the boys' side, from inside the building. A figure emerged from the smoke and debris, massive, 8 feet tall, muscles like cables under gray skin. Its eyes were vacant, drool hanging from slack jaws. It wore the remains of a hospital gown, torn and bloody. Another test subject, one that hadn't been in any cell. It roared, a sound of pure animal rage, and charged, not at Rimuru, at the Pyang Tients behind him. Rimuru moved on instinct. His body shifted, expanding into a barrier of compressed slime between the charging creature and the patients. The impact hit like a freight train. The thing's fist drove into Rimuru's chest with enough force to crater concrete. Would have liquefied a human torso. Rimuru's body simply absorbed it, distributing the kinetic energy across his entire mass. The creature pulled back, confused. Its fist was stuck, sinking into Rimuru's slime body like quicksand. It roared again, yanking backward, but Rimuru held firm. "Everyone out!" Rimuru shouted to the patients. "Go to the van, now!" They didn't need to be told twice. The stone-skinned man scooped up the child, and the group ran for the shattered entrance. Rimuru heard MM's voice. "Move! Move! We got you!" The creature thrashed, pulling harder. Rimuru released it, letting the sudden lack of resistance throw it off balance. As it stumbled, he got his first good look. It had been a man once, young, maybe early 20s. Athletic build, now grotesquely distorted by failed compound V integration. The muscles had grown wrong, asymmetrical, tearing through skin in places. One arm was twice the size of the other. The face was barely recognizable as human, jaw elongated, eyes too far apart. And beneath the rage, Rimuru saw pain. Great Sage, analysis. Analysis. Subject shows extreme compound V toxicity. Nervous system damage severe. Higher brain functions compromised. Subject is suffering. Recommendation: immediate euthanasia or extensive healing intervention. Can you save him? Rimuru asked, dodging another wild swing. Affirmative, with sufficient magical energy and time. Current probability of full recovery, 23%. Probability of restored basic function, 71%. The creature charged again, faster this time. Rimuru sidestepped, let it crash into a wall. Debris exploded outward. The thing did, and even seemed to notice. Just turned and charged again. Behind Rimuru, boots thundered down the corridor. Security forces armed with weapons that looked far too advanced for basic guards. One raised what looked like a rifle, but the barrel glowed blue. Target acquired. Engaging hostile soup. Wait! Rimuru threw up his hand. He's not... The weapon fired, not bullets. Some kind of energy beam that hit the creature square in the chest, burning through flesh. The thing screamed, not in rage this time, but in agony. Pure animal suffering. It collapsed, smoke rising from the wound. Rimuru's expression hardened. He moved before the guards could track him, crossing the distance in a blur. His hand wrapped around the weapon's barrel, and he crushed it like aluminum foil. The metal groaned, circuits sparking, then died. He's a victim, Rimuru said quietly, not a target. Step back, another guard leveled his weapon. You're interfering with Vaught's security. Rimuru released his aura. Just a fraction of it, just enough to make his point. The air pressure in the corridor spiked, windows cracking from the sudden force. The guards stumbled backward, weapons trembling in their grips. I'm taking him with me, Rimuru stated. Along with everyone else you've tortured in this facility. You can either let that happen, or you can try to stop me. His eyes glowed faintly blue. I don't recommend the second option. The head guard's finger tightened on his trigger. For a moment, Rimuru thought he'd actually be stupid enough to fire. Then Huey's voice crackled through a radio. Rimuru, we got everyone loaded, but Vaught's sending reinforcements. We gotta go. The creature groaned, trying to rise despite its wounds. Rimuru moved to it, kneeling beside the massive form. I'm sorry, he said softly. They did this to you, but I can help, if you'll let me. The creature's eyes focused on him, just for a second. Recognition flickered there, human awareness, buried deep. Then it went limp, unconscious from pain and blood loss. Rimuru lifted it. 8 feet tall, maybe 6 hoen. 100 pounds of twisted muscle and bone. He cradled it like a child and ran. The entrance was chaos, more guards pouring in, shouts, alarms. Through the smoke, Rimuru saw the boy's van, back doors open, waving frantically. Come on! Rimuru sprinted, the creature's weight nothing to his enhanced strength. Bullets sparked off the ground around him, warning shots, or maybe just terrible aim. He didn't care. He reached the van, loaded the creature into the cargo area where the patients were already huddled. Drive! Butcher gunned the engine before Rimuru was fully inside. They tore away from Sage Grove as black SUVs screeched around the building's far side. Searchlights swept the forest. Somewhere in the distance, sirens wailed. Inside the van, 13 people breathed in ragged gasps. The stone-skinned man held the child close. The electric woman sparked weakly, exhausted. And the creature lay sprawled across the floor, chest rising and falling in shallow breaths. Jesus Christ, muttered, looking back from the passenger seat. You actually got them all out. Including that thing? Butcher jerked his thumb at the creature. Mate, that's a walking lawsuit. Vought will hunt us to the ends of the earth for his name, Rimuru interrupted, hand on the creature's forehead, already beginning the healing process, is Marcus Webb, age 23, college student. He volunteered for what he thought was a clinical trial. He looked at Butcher. Butcher opened his mouth, then closed it, shook his head. You're either the bravest or the stupidest soup I've ever met. Maybe both, Huey offered weakly. He held up the drive. But we got it. Everything. Test results, financial records, video evidence. This is enough to... His phone rang. Everyone went silent. Huey looked at the screen, face going pale. It's CNN. How did they get my number? Answer it, said. Speakerphone. Huey did. A woman's voice filled the van. This is Jennifer Carling, CNN. We're seeking comment on the terrorist attack at Sage Grove Center. Are you affiliated with the group that broke in and assaulted security personnel? Terrorist attack? Huey's voice cracked. We didn't... Butcher grabbed the phone, ended the call. They're already spinning it. Fuck. Frenchie had a tablet open, scrolling through news sites. His expression darkened. Butcher, you need to see this. The screen showed a live news broadcast, Sage Grove Center, surrounded by emergency vehicles. And standing in front of the cameras, immaculate in her business suit despite the late hour, was Madeline Stillwell. This cowardly attack targeted vulnerable patients receiving treatment for superability-related trauma, she was saying. Her voice trembled with practiced emotion. A rogue soup, identity still unknown, infiltrated a secure medical facility and released dangerous individuals into the community. We have footage. The screen cut to security video, heavily edited. It showed Rimuru destroying cell doors, the creature attacking guards, patients being led away. What it didn't show was the IV lines, the screaming, the torture, just a hero freeing dangerous criminals. The individual responsible has been identified as the same foreign soup who appeared at the Thanksgiving parade, Stillwell continued. We had hoped to help him integrate safely. Instead, and he's proven to be a severe threat to public safety. Vought International is cooperating fully with law enforcement to apprehend... Butcher turned off the tablet. The van was silent, except for the engine, and Marcus's labored breathing. Well, Butcher finally said, you're officially a terrorist, mate. Welcome to the club. Rimuru looked at the patients around him. Broken people that Vought had discarded. Evidence of crimes that would never see a courtroom if Stillwell had her way. And somewhere in Manhattan, Homelander was probably smiling. They're going to come after me, Rimuru said quietly. Yeah, agreed. The whole fucking 7 probably. Maybe the National Guard too. Good. Rimuru's eyes hardened. Let them come. I'm done playing nice. Huey looked at him with something like awe. What are you going to do? Rimuru thought of his city, his people, the nation he'd built from nothing, where monsters and humans lived as equals, where power served community, not profit. I'm going to show this world what a real hero looks like, he said. And then I'm going to burn Vought to the ground. The safe house was a warehouse in Red Hook, Brooklyn. Abandoned, technically. Owned by a shell company 3 layers deep, courtesy of Frenchie's connections. Rusty metal walls, concrete floors stained with decades of oil and neglect. Not comfortable, but hidden. The patients lay on makeshift cots Huey had scrounged from a closed hospital. Rimuru moved between them, hands glowing with healing magic, slowly unwinding what Vought had done to their bodies. It was delicate work. The Compound 5 had integrated into their DNA like a parasite, changing them on a molecular level. Ripping it out would kill them, but leaving it in meant slow deterioration, madness, pain. So Rimuru worked carefully, coaxing their bodies back toward human while leaving enough enhancement to keep them alive. Marcus was the worst. The massive creature lay unconscious on 3 cots pushed together. Rimuru had been working on him for 2 hours and the progress was agonizingly slow. The muscle distortion was reversing, bones realigning, but the brain damage, analysis, frontal lobe trauma extensive. Emotional regulation centers destroyed, memory centers fragmented, full recovery impossible without more advanced intervention. Define more advanced, Rimuru muttered. Recommendation: soul-level healing, direct intervention with subject's spiritual essence. Risk level: moderate. Your energy reserves: sufficient. Rimuru placed both hands on Marcus's forehead, closed his eyes, and dove deep. Soul healing was intimate, invasive. He saw Marcus's memories, college classes, a girlfriend, parents who loved him. Then the darker memories, the clinic, the promises of enhancement, the injection, the screaming as his body tore itself apart from the inside. Weeks of agony in that cell, watching himself become a monster, feeling his mind slip away piece by piece. And underneath it all, the tiny fragment of Marcus that remained, terrified, alone, screaming silently where no one could hear. "I hear you," Rimuru whispered into that darkness. "I'm here." The fragment stirred, recognized help, reached out. Rimuru grabbed hold and pulled. Marcus's body convulsed. Muscles spasmed, bones cracked as they reset. The distortion receded like a tide, revealing human proportions beneath. His face reformed, jaw shrinking, eyes moving closer together, skin healing over the tears. When Rimuru pulled back, gasping from the effort, Marcus Webb was human again. Smaller, maybe 5'11", lean build. His face was young, unlined, confused. His eyes opened, brown, clear, aware. "Where?" Marcus's voice was rough, unused. "Where am I?" "Safe," Rimuru said. "You're safe now." Marcus started crying. Across the warehouse, Butcher watched from a catwalk, flask in hand. Stood beside him, arms crossed. "He's been at it for hours," observed. "Hasn't stopped, hasn't eaten, barely breathes." "He's not human," Butcher said. "Keeps forgetting that part." "Neither are the soups. Doesn't make them heroes." "No." Butcher took a drink. "But he might actually be one, which makes him either the most dangerous person in this building or the most useful. Haven't decided which." Below, Huey approached Rimuru with a bottle of water. "You should rest. You've been—" "I'm fine." Rimuru accepted the water but didn't drink. "How many more?" "4 still need significant healing. The others are stable enough to move." Huey glanced at Marcus, who was sitting up now, staring at his human hands like he'd never seen them before. "What you did for him. That's incredible. It's basic healing. Any decent magic user could—" Rimuru stopped, remembered. "No magic here, no healers. Just Compound 5 and surgeons and luck." "Sorry. In my world, this wouldn't be impressive." "Well, in this world, it's a miracle." Huey sat down on a crate. "The news is still running the story. Vaught's saying you're a terrorist. They've got witness statements from guards, edited footage, expert analysis. Public opinion's turning fast." "Let it turn." Rimuru moved to the next patient, the electric woman, Sarah, who sparked less now but still couldn't fully control it. "We have the evidence. The truth. Once we release it—" "Butcher doesn't think we can release it." Rimuru looked up sharply. Huey continued, voice quiet. "He says Vought controls too much media. Even if we leak everything, they'll bury it, discredit it, claim it's doctored, and without physical proof, without the patients." He gestured around the warehouse. "They'll just disappear us. All of us. Then we don't release it to the media." Rimuru's hands glowed as he worked on Sarah's nervous system, grounding the excess electricity. "We go to the government. Vought owns half the government. Then we make it impossible to ignore, public display, somewhere they can't cover up." "That's what Butch wants to talk to you about, actually." Huey stood. "He's got a plan. You're not going to like it." Upstairs, in the makeshift war room, Butcher spread out photos on a folding table. "Times Square," he said. "New Year's Eve. 3 days from now." Rimuru studied the images. Massive crowds. Cameras everywhere. The ball drop. Famous worldwide. "You want me to expose Vought during the celebration?" Rimuru said. I want you to show them what you showed me. Butcher tapped one photo, Homelander's face on a jumbotron. The 7 will be there. Always are. Big publicity event. You crash it, reveal the truth in front of 1 million people and every camera in the country. That's suicide, said flatly. Homelander will kill him on live television. Maybe. Butcher looked at Rimuru. But you've fought him before. Think you can take him? Rimuru considered. He'd faced Homelander once, briefly on the rooftop. The soup was powerful. Flight, strength, heat vision, near invulnerability. A genuinely dangerous opponent. But Rimuru had fought demon lords, had matched blows with beings that could destroy cities with a thought. Homelander was strong, but he wasn't invincible. I can take him, Rimuru said, but killing him doesn't solve anything. It makes me the villain. So don't kill him. Butcher leaned forward. Humiliate him. Break him in front of the world. Show everyone that America's greatest hero is just a super-powered man-child with a god complex. Then, while everyone's watching, you release the evidence. Sage Grove, Compound V, everything. They'll still spin it, Huey protested. They can try, Butcher grinned. But it's hard to spin video of Homelander getting his ass handed to him by someone who actually gives a shit about people. Rimuru was quiet for a long moment. In Tempest, he'd built peace through diplomacy, through proving monsters weren't inherently evil, but he'd also fought wars, had faced opponents who only understood power. Vought was like that. They only understood money and force. What about the patients? Rimuru asked. If I'm in Times Square, they're vulnerable. We move them, said. Tonight, different location. Frenchie's got a place upstate, remote, safe. And if Vought finds them anyway? Then we make sure Vaught's too busy dealing with you to look. Butcher pulled out another photo. Homelander, up close. Those cold blue eyes. That mechanical smile. You said you wanted to burn them down. This is how we start the fire. A phone buzzed. Frenchie's. He checked it, face paling. Merde, we have a problem. He turned on a television mounted to the wall. News footage filled the screen. Aerial view of the warehouse district. Their warehouse district. Police blockades at every intersection, black SUVs converging, and in the sky, descending like an avenging angel, a figure in blue and red. Homelander had found them. How? demanded. Doesn't matter. Butcher was already moving, grabbing weapons. Everyone out. Now, take the patients. Use the tunnels. No. Rimuru stood. You take the patients. I'll deal with Homelander. Mate, that's not a debate. Rimuru's voice carried absolute certainty. He's here for me. I'm not letting innocent people die in the crossfire. He walked toward the warehouse's main entrance. Behind him, he heard Butcher cursing, shouting orders, patients being moved. Good. They'd be safe. Rimuru stepped outside. The street was empty, cordoned off. Police cars at both ends, officers watching from behind barricades. Civilians evacuated. Smart. Vought knew what was coming. Homelander landed in the center of the street. He wasn't smiling anymore. You've been a busy little terrorist, Homelander said. His voice was flat, emotionless, all pretense of heroism gone. Breaking into facilities, freeing dangerous criminals, making me look bad on national television. I'm going to kill you now, he said conversationally, slowly, in front of all these cameras. And when I'm done, everyone will understand that I'm the hero, and you're just another soup who went bad. His eyes began to glow red. Rimuru didn't flinch. Try it. The heat vision came first. Twin beams of concentrated energy, hot enough to melt steel, scorched through the air where Rimuru had been standing. He'd already moved, slime body flowing aside like water, letting the attack pass harmlessly through empty space. The beams cut into the warehouse behind him. Metal glowed orange, then white. The structure groaned. Still people inside, Rimuru shouted. Homelander's only response was to fire again. This time Rimuru didn't dodge. He raised his hand, activating thermal fluctuation resistance. The heat vision struck his palm and simply stopped, energy dissipating harmlessly into the air around him. Homelander's eyes widened fractionally, then narrowed. He moved faster than sound, crossing the distance in a blur. His fist aimed for Rimuru's face with enough force to pulverize concrete. Rimuru caught it. The shockwave from the impact cracked the asphalt in a 10-foot radius. Car alarms wailed, windows shattered in nearby buildings. But Rimuru's hand remained steady, wrapped around Homelander's fist, completely unmoved. For a moment they stood frozen. Homelander straining, veins standing out on his neck, putting everything into the punch. Rimuru holding firm, not even breathing hard. "Impossible," Homelander hissed. "Nobody's stronger than me. Nobody." "Strength isn't everything." Rimuru released him, stepped back. "Please, you don't want to do this." Homelander's response was a backhand that could have decapitated a normal human. Rimuru ducked under it, countered with a palm strike to Homelander's chest. Not full power, just enough to send the soup flying backward 100 feet. Homelander crashed through a chain-link fence, rolled, and came up snarling. "Fight back!" Homelander's voice cracked. "Fight me like you mean it!" He launched himself skyward, then dove like a missile. Rimuru met him halfway, and they collided in midair with a thunderclap that rattled every building in a 3-block radius. They grappled, spinning, each trying for leverage. Homelander's heat vision fired at point-blank range. Rimuru phased partially, let it pass through his dispersed slime body, reformed, and drove a knee into Homelander's ribs. The soup gasped, more from shock than pain. "What are you?" "Someone who doesn't want to hurt you." Rimuru grabbed Homelander's cape, used it to redirect his momentum, and slammed him into the street below. The impact cratered the asphalt. Homelander lay there for half a second, then erupted upward, roaring. They traded blows in the air, a deadly dance of superhuman speed and power. Each impact sent shockwaves rippling outward. Homelander fought with rage, wild swings and raw power. Rimuru fought with precision, every movement calculated, every strike measured. And he was holding back, significantly. Homelander seemed to sense it, seemed to understand that Rimuru could end this any time he wanted. And that realization made him angrier. "I'm Homelander!" He screamed it like a prayer, like saying it enough times would make it true. "I'm the hero, I'm the strongest, I'm—" Rimuru caught both his wrists, stopped him mid-charge. "You're a victim," he said quietly. "Just like everyone else Vought made." That was the wrong thing to say. Homelander's eyes blazed scarlet. Heat vision at maximum power, continuous beam, enough energy to cut through a building. He swept. The building groaned, shifted, started to collapse. "No!" Rimuru released Homelander, dove toward the falling structure. His body expanded, forming a massive cushion of compressed slime beneath the building's corner. He caught it, held it, muscles straining even in this form. Inside he heard screaming. People who hadn't evacuated. Families. Homelander landed nearby, breathing hard, smile returning. There it is. The hero's weakness. You care too much. He fired another heat vision blast, not at Rimuru, but at another building's foundation. Rimuru's mind raced. He could let the first building fall, save the second, or hold this one and watch innocent people die. Or, great sage, analysis. Options. Solution. Create autonomous slime clone to stabilize second building. Energy cost. Moderate. Multitasking penalty. Acceptable. Rimuru split his consciousness. Part of him held the first building. Part of him formed a second body that shot toward the other structure, creating support pillars of hardened slime. Both buildings stabilized. Families safe. Homelander laughed. "Clever, but can you do it again?" He launched himself at a third building. Rimuru intercepted, slammed him into the street before he could fire. They tumbled, grappling, demolishing a parked car in the process. "Stop!" Rimuru pinned him. "You're going to kill someone! That's the point!" Homelander bucked, threw him off with desperate strength. "Either you let me win, or people die. That's how this works. That's how it's always worked." He fired indiscriminately now, heat vision sweeping across buildings, cars, anything. Rimuru moved in a blur, creating barriers, deflecting beams, protecting civilians. He was faster than Homelander, more versatile, but defense was always harder than offense. And Homelander knew it. "You can't save everyone." Homelander's voice was gleeful, manic. "You're going to have to see. And when you do, when someone dies, the world will see. They'll see you're not perfect. Not a real hero, just another—" A sonic boom interrupted him. 3 figures descended from the sky. Queen Maeve in armor, Black Noir in tactical black, and A-Train, vibrating with barely contained speed. The 7 had arrived. "Homelander?" Maeve's voice was carefully neutral. "Vought wants him alive, for questioning." "Fuck what Vought wants." Homelander didn't even look at her. "I want him dead." "Bro, there are news choppers filming everything." A-Train gestured at the sky. 3 helicopters circled at a distance, cameras rolling. "This is getting out of hand." "It's already out of hand." Homelander spread his arms. "This freak shows up, challenges me, challenges the 7, and you want me to just—" Black Noir moved without warning. He was fast. Not superhuman fast like A-Train, but trained, precise. Throwing knives materialized in his hands and flew toward Rimuru in a pattern designed to herd, not kill. Rimuru caught them out of the air. "I don't want to fight you." Noir responded by drawing more weapons. Queen Maeve sighed, drew her sword. "Make this easy on yourself. Come in quietly." "There are injured people in that warehouse," Rimuru said, pointing. "Patients from Sage Grove who need medical attention. Real medical attention, not Vaught's version. Those patients are dangerous individuals who are victims of illegal human experimentation." Rimuru's voice cut through Maeve's rehearsed line. "You know it. I know you know it. I can see it in your eyes." Something flickered in Maeve's expression. Guilt? Shame? It was gone in an instant, replaced by the mask. "Doesn't matter what I know," she said quietly. "Only matters what I do." She charged. Rimuru found himself fighting on 4 fronts. Homelander with raw power and heat vision, Black Noir with weapons and tactical precision, Queen Maeve with her sword and enhanced strength, and A-Train zipping in and out, landing hits at super speed before retreating. He could have killed them. All of them. Great Sage mapped a dozen ways to end the fight in seconds. But each option involved lethal force, and Rimuru wouldn't cross that line. So instead he defended, redirected, countered non-lethally. He caught Black Noir's knife, disarmed him, and swept his legs, blocked Maeve's sword with a hardened slime limb, then grappled her into submission, predicted A-Train's next attack path and clotheslined him mid-run. And through it all, Homelander kept attacking, kept escalating, kept trying to force Rimuru into a mistake. "Just die already." Homelander's heat vision scorched the air. Rimuru absorbed it, channeled the thermal energy into the ground. Steam hiss in, DD from cracks in the asphalt. "I'm trying to help you," Rimuru said. "All of you. Can't you see what Vaught's done? What they've made you into?" "They made us gods," Homelander screamed. "They made you slaves." Homelander went silent. For just a second, something cracked in his expression. Pain, recognition, the briefest glimpse of the human underneath the monster. Then it was gone, replaced by pure rage. He opened his mouth, to scream, to attack. Rimuru wasn't sure, but he never got the chance. A new sound cut through the chaos. Engines, lots of them. Military helicopters crested the surrounding buildings, 6 of them armed with spotlights that bathed the street in harsh white light. From their loudspeakers, a voice boomed, "Attention! All soups are to stand down immediately. This area is now under federal jurisdiction. Comply or be fired upon." Homelander looked up at the helicopters, at the soldiers visible through open doors, weapons trained. His jaw worked silently. "They wouldn't dare," he whispered. One helicopter's targeting laser painted a red dot on his chest. Rimuru saw the calculation in Homelander's eyes, saw him weighing his options. Fight the military? Kill soldiers on live television? Even for him, that was a line. For now. Homelander's fists clenched, unclenched. He looked at Rimuru with pure hatred. This isn't over. Then he flew away, cape billowing, disappearing into the night sky. The other 7 followed, Maeve limping slightly, Black Noir clutching his ribs, A-Train stumbling from the clothesline impact. Rimuru stood alone in the destroyed street, surrounded by military helicopters and news cameras. A soldier rappelled down, weapon trained but not aimed directly. "Sir, you need to come with us." "The people in the warehouse need medical attention," Rimuru said. "They're being evacuated as we speak. Now, sir, hands where I can see them." Rimuru looked at the cameras, at the destruction around him, at the buildings he'd saved and the chaos he'd caused. Then he raised his hands. The facility wasn't a prison. Technically, it was a Department of Defense research installation 40 miles outside D.C., hidden behind layers of security clearance and bureaucratic designation. Rimuru sat in what they called an interview room, windowless concrete walls, a table bolted to the floor, and cameras in every corner. Across from him sat 2 people. General Robert Kessler, late 50s, gray crew cut, chest full of medals. His eyes were sharp, assessing, the look of a man who'd made career out of reading threats. And Dr. Samantha Vogelbaum, early 40s, severe glasses, tablet in hand. She studied Rimuru like he was a particularly interesting lab specimen. "Let's start simple," Kessler said. "What are you?" "Rimuru Tempest, leader of the Jura Tempest Federation, dimensional traveler." Rimuru had answered this question a dozen times in the past 6 hours. "I've told you everything. Multiple times. Humor us." Vogelbaum tapped her tablet. "Our scientists have analyzed the blood sample from Vaught's initial testing. It's unprecedented. No DNA, no cells, just compressed energy in a biological matrix we can't classify. That's because I'm a slime. A magical being. This isn't complicated." "Magic doesn't exist," Kessler said flatly. Rimuru sighed. He raised his hand, let water coalesce from the moisture in the air, shaped it into a perfect sphere, then froze it solid, then melted it, then turned it to steam, all without touching it. "Your technology can do that?" he asked. Vogelbaum's eyes gleamed. "No, but that doesn't mean it's magic. Just an application of physics we don't understand yet." "Call it whatever you want." Rimuru let the water dissipate. "The point is, I'm not from your world. I didn't come here to cause trouble, and I definitely didn't come here to fight your corporate superheroes. Yet you did fight them." Kessler pulled up footage on a screen, the battle with Homelander, viewed from a news helicopter. "And you held your own against the most powerful supe in America, possibly the world. Homelander attacked me. I defended myself, while simultaneously rescuing 13 individuals from a Vought facility." Vogelbaum scrolled through files. Individuals Vought claims were dangerous patients requiring specialized containment. Vought was experimenting on them. Rimuru leaned forward, injecting them with Compound V without proper consent, torturing them. "I have evidence." "We know," Kessler cut him off. "The evidence was delivered to us this morning, anonymously. Server data from Sage Grove, medical records, financial transactions, and video footage of the procedures." Rimuru blinked. The boys had actually done it, sent the evidence to the government. "And?" he asked carefully. Kessler and Vogelbaum exchanged glances. "It's troubling," Vogelbaum admitted. "If verified, it suggests serious ethical violations, possibly criminal." "If verified," Rimuru's voice rose, "you have video evidence of people screaming while being injected with experimental serums." "Video can be faked," Kessler said, "especially when the source is unknown, and especially when Vought International has its own experts ready to testify that the footage is fabricated. Of course they do. Rimuru slumped back. So you're going to do nothing? We're going to investigate. Kessler's tone suggested how that would end. Through proper channels, following protocol, while Vought continues its experiments. Mr. Tempest. Vogelbaum removed her glasses, cleaned them. Do you understand the position you're putting us in? Vought isn't just a company. They're integrated into national defense, law enforcement, disaster response. 70% of major crime is handled by Vought soups. If we move against them without ironclad proof, the system collapses, Rimuru finished. And people die in the chaos. Exactly. Rimuru was quiet for a moment. He understood their position intellectually. Vought had made itself too essential to easily destroy. Like a parasite that had grown so large, removing it would kill the host. But he also understood that this kind of thinking was how evil persisted. The patients I rescued, he said. Where are they? Receiving medical care, Kessler assured him, under federal protection. Vought has demanded their return, but we're delaying. Let me see them. That's not possible. Then let me heal them. Rimuru stood. I can reverse the compound V damage. I've already done it for one of them. Marcus Webb. Check your medical reports. Vogelbaum's fingers flew across her tablet. Her eyes widened. According to this, subject MW23, nothing's impossible. Rimuru met her gaze. Just difficult. Let me help them. Then let me go home. We can't let you go, Kessler said. You're a foreign national with undefined powers who assaulted multiple heroes on American soil. I defended myself and destroyed half a city block in the process. Kessler pulled up damage reports. 12 million in property damage. 47 civilians treated for minor injuries. You're lucky no one died. No one died because I made sure no one died. Rimuru's frustration boiled over. While Homelander was throwing buildings around, I was catching them, saving people, being an actual hero instead of a corporate mascot. Lower your voice, Mr. Tempest. No. Rimuru's eyes glowed faintly. I've been patient. I've cooperated. I've answered every question, provided every explanation. And what have you done? Locked me in this room while Vought spins the story, while the real victims suffer, while... The door opened. A woman entered, mid-30s, expensive suit, briefcase, and an expression of absolute confidence. She looked like a lawyer, smelled like one too, metaphorically speaking. This interview is over, she announced. Mr. Tempest, I'm here to inform you that you're being released into Vought International's custody. Kessler stood. Like hell he is. This is a federal facility. You have no authority. I have a federal court order. She pulled a document from her briefcase, handed it to Kessler. Signed 1 hour ago, Mr. Tempest is classified as a super-abled individual under the jurisdiction of the National Soup Affairs Division, which, as you know, operates under contract with Vought International. Kessler's jaw worked as he read the order. This is bullshit. This is the law, General. The lawyer turned to Rimuru. Mr. Tempest, if you'll come with me. Vought has prepared accommodations more suitable than a military detention cell. Rimuru didn't move. And if I refuse? Then you'll be classified as a hostile foreign soup and detained indefinitely under the Enhanced Beings Act. She smiled. Vought is offering a third option, voluntary cooperation. A chance to clear your name, help the victims of the Sage Grove incident, and find a way home. Isn't that what you want? It was a trap. Obviously a trap. Vought wanted him contained, controlled, or killed. But staying here meant indefinite detention, and the patients needed help. I want to see the patients first, Rimuru said. All of them. Make sure they're actually receiving care. The lawyer hesitated, checked her phone, typed something, waited. Agreed, she said finally. You have 15 minutes. They were in a medical wing 3 levels down. Rimuru found them in private rooms, hooked to monitors, attended by doctors who actually seemed to care. Marcus was awake, talking quietly with a psychiatrist. Sarah, the electric woman, was learning to ground herself through specialized equipment. The others were healing, slowly but steadily. The child, Timothy, Rimuru learned his name was, looked up when Rimuru entered his room. "You came back," Timothy said quietly. "I promised I would." Rimuru sat beside the bed. "How are you feeling?" "Better. The bones don't hurt anymore." Timothy held up his arm, still thin, still fragile, but human. "The doctors say I might be normal again. Someday." "You will be." Rimuru placed a hand on the boy's forehead, channeling a pulse of healing energy. "I'll make sure of it. They say you're going away, with Vought. For a little while. But I'll come back." Rimuru hoped that was true. "Be strong, okay? And trust the doctors here. They're good people." Timothy nodded, unconvinced, but trying to be brave. Rimuru visited each patient, checking their progress, offering what healing he could in the limited time. Marcus pulled him aside before he left. "Thank you," Marcus said quietly. His human face was still strange to him, Rimuru could tell. He kept touching his jaw, his nose, like confirming they were real. "For giving me back my life. You deserved it. All of you did. What Vought did, they can't get away with it. They won't." Rimuru clasped his shoulder. "I promise you, they won't." The Vought transport was a luxury helicopter. Rimuru sat in leather seats worth more than most people's cars while the lawyer, she'd introduced herself as Jennifer Klein, senior legal counsel, reviewed documents on her tablet. "You'll be housed at Vought Tower again," she said. "Different floor, more, security appropriate." "You mean a better cage?" "I'm in protective custody." Klein didn't look up. "Public opinion regarding you is mixed. 38% view you as a hero, 41% as a threat, 21% undecided. Vought wants to shift those numbers. With PR spin. With truth." Klein met his eyes. "The interview airs tomorrow night. Prime time. Madeline Stillwell will ask questions. You'll answer honestly. America will see you're not a threat." "Interview?" Rimuru's danger sense flared. "I didn't agree to any interview." "It's part of your release agreement. You did read the document before signing, yes?" Rimuru had signed nothing, which meant, "You forged my signature." Klein smiled. "We prefer assumed consent in the interest of public safety. But yes." The helicopter banked toward Manhattan. Vought Tower rose ahead, gleaming in the afternoon sun. Rimuru looked at his reflection in the window, saw the trap closing around him. Somewhere in the city below, the boys were watching, planning, and in 3 days, Times Square would host its New Year celebration. 3 days to survive Vaught's interview. 3 days to find leverage. 3 days to prepare for the fight of his life. Rimuru closed his eyes and began to plan. The studio was freezing. Rimuru sat in a chair designed for someone smaller, under lights hot enough to make humans sweat. The audience, 200 carefully selected people, watched with expressions ranging from curious to hostile. Cameras on tracks circled like predators, and across from him, Madeline Stillwell smiled. She wore blue tonight, soft, trustworthy blue. Her makeup was perfect, hair immaculate, and her expression radiated maternal concern. Behind her, a massive screen displayed the Vought logo and the show's title. Vought presents America's Conversation. "We're live in 30 seconds, a producer whispered. Stillwell leaned forward. "Remember, Mr. Tempest, this is your chance to tell your story, to show America who you really are." Her smile never wavered. "Just be honest." Rimuru understood what she meant. Be honest in the ways we want. Lie about everything else. The countdown began. 5, 4, 3. The red light blinked on. "Good evening, America." Stillwell's voice was warm honey. "Tonight, We have a very special guest. The mysterious individual who appeared at our Thanksgiving parade, fought the Seven in Brooklyn, and has captivated and frightened our nation. Please welcome Rimuru Tempest. Polite applause, carefully modulated, not enthusiastic enough to seem like endorsement. Thank you for having me, Rimuru said. Let's start with the question on everyone's mind. Stillwell's smile widened. What are you? I'm a slime, a magical being from another dimension. My world experienced a catastrophic event that sent me here. Silence from the audience, a few uncomfortable laughs. A slime, Stillwell repeated. From another dimension. That's quite a claim. It's the truth. And you can prove. This? Rimuru let his form ripple. For a moment his human shape blurred into translucent blue gel before re-solidifying. Gasps from the audience. Cameras zoomed in. That's certainly impressive, Stillwell acknowledged. Our experts suggest it could be a form of molecular manipulation. A very advanced power, granted by Compound V. I've never taken Compound V. That's what you say. But you've refused comprehensive medical testing that could verify your claims. I provided blood samples. Your doctors couldn't classify what they found. Because you destroyed the samples. Stillwell's voice took on a gentle, regretful tone. Before proper analysis could be completed. Rimuru's jaw tightened. He'd done no such thing, but arguing would make him look defensive. Let's talk about Sage Grove, Stillwell continued. You broke into a secure medical facility, assaulted security personnel, released patients who were receiving treatment for dangerous psychological conditions. Why? Because they weren't patients. They were victims of illegal experimentation. Vought was testing Compound V variants on people without proper consent. Murmurs from the audience. Stillwell's expression remained sympathetic. That's a very serious accusation. Do you have proof? I provided evidence to the federal government. Server data, medical records, video footage. Footage that our forensic experts have examined and found to be digitally altered. Stillwell pulled up an image on the screen behind her. See these artifacts? This pixelation? Classic signs of video manipulation. The image showed exactly what she claimed, except Rimuru had seen the original footage. It had been pristine. They'd doctored the evidence to look doctored. The people I rescued are real, Rimuru said, keeping his voice level. They're being treated at federal facilities right now. They can testify. They can claim anything, Stillwell interrupted gently. But Mr. Tempest, these individuals were already unstable before you encountered them. Some had criminal records. Others had documented mental health issues. You took them from a place where they were receiving help. They were screaming, strapped to gurneys, injected with experimental serums, receiving treatment, which sometimes requires restraint for the patient's own safety. Stillwell's expression was pity itself. I understand you thought you were helping, but you may have actually harmed them, interrupted their therapy, set back their recovery. Rimuru felt the trap tightening. Everything he said she twisted, every fact she had a counter-narrative for, and the audience was nodding along, believing her. What about Homelander attacking me? Rimuru asked. Was that therapy too? Stillwell's smile didn't falter. Homelander responded to reports of a violent intrusion. He attempted to de-escalate. You fought back. He threw Bill. Dings. After you attacked him. We have footage. The screen showed edited clips, Rimuru moving first, Homelander defending, the context removed, the truth inverted. You've manipulated that footage, Rimuru said. Or perhaps you're misremembering a chaotic situation. Stillwell leaned forward, voice full of concern. Mr. Tempest, is it possible you're experiencing delusions? That your perception of events doesn't match reality? There it was. The play. Make him seem crazy, unreliable, a dangerous individual who couldn't distinguish truth from fantasy. "I know what I saw," Rimuru said quietly. "Of course you do." Stillwell reached across, placed her hand on his. The touch was warm, maternal. "And that's what worries us. A person with your power, experiencing perceptual difficulties. That's dangerous, for you and for everyone around you." Rimuru pulled his hand back. "I'm not delusional." "Then help us understand." Stillwell's voice remained gentle. "If you're really from another dimension, if you're really here by accident, why fight? Why not work with Vought?" The words hung in the air, blunt, honest, exactly wrong for this format. Stillwell's expression shifted to hurt. "Mr. Tempest, Vought International has saved countless lives. We've protected America for 70 years. What have we done to earn your distrust?" Rimuru could have listed it all. The experiments, the cover-ups, the manufactured heroes, the children injected with compound Vi, the deaths swept under rugs of money and legal threats. But he was on live television, in a studio controlled by Vought, surrounded by their cameras, their audience, their narrative. "You create heroes for profit," he said instead. "Not because it's right, because it's profitable." "All businesses need to be profitable," Stillwell countered. "That doesn't make them evil. It makes them sustainable. Would you prefer we couldn't afford to save people?" "I'd prefer you didn't need to sell saving people like a product. And in your world, I'm sure it's different. Perfect, perhaps?" Stillwell's smile had an edge now. "But this isn't your world. Here, we work within reality. We make the best of an imperfect system. By experimenting on people, by developing treatments for super-ability-related disorders, by helping people who've been gifted or cursed with powers they can't control, by doing the hard work that allows armchair critics to judge us from positions of moral superiority." The audience applauded. Rimuru felt it shift, public opinion turning against him in real time. "Let's take some questions from our audience," Stillwell suggested. A woman stood, middle-aged, nervous. "Mr. Tempest, my daughter has compound V abilities. She's learning to control them at a Vought facility. Are you saying she's being abused?" Rimuru hesitated. "I'm saying Vought has engaged in unethical experimentation. That doesn't mean every facility, so my daughter might be fine, or might be tortured, which is I can't speak to individual cases without evidence." "But you're willing to condemn the entire organization?" The woman's voice rose. "My daughter is happy there, safe. You want to take that away from her?" "I want to make sure she's actually safe." "You want to destroy Vought because you're jealous?" Another audience member stood. "You show up here, with powers you won't explain, and attack the heroes who actually protect us." More people standing, more voices. The moderator made no attempt to control them. "My son was saved by Homelander. Vought stopped the Times Square bombing. Who are you to judge us?" Stillwell let it build, let the anger crescendo, then raised her hand for silence. "I think," she said gently, "this shows the real issue. Mr. Tempest arrived in our world and immediately decided we were wrong. Our system was corrupt. Our heroes were false, without trying to understand us, without giving us a chance." She looked directly into the camera, at America watching. "We're not perfect. No system is, but we're trying, every day, to make the world safer. And when someone with incredible power decides we're the enemy," she turned to Rimuru, "that's not heroism. That's vigilantism. That's dangerous." Rimuru sat silent. Every word he said would be twisted, every defense used as evidence of his instability. "One final question," Stillwell said. "Will you agree to proper registration, to working within our system instead of against it? Will you help us, Mr. Tempest?" The trap's teeth closed. Say yes, and Vought owns him. Say no, and he confirms every accusation of being a dangerous rogue element. Rimuru looked at the cameras, at the audience, at Stillwell's perfect practiced smile, and he thought of Timothy's face, Marcus's gratitude, the screaming from Sage Grove's basement. "No," he said quietly. "I won't help you lie." The studio erupted. Stillwell called for commercial. Security moved in. But Rimuru was already leaving, walking through cameras and protests and shouted questions, out of the studio, into the night. His phone, the boys had given him a secure one, buzzed. "Butcher. Well, that went fucking brilliantly. 62% of viewers now view you as a threat, up from 41%. Good job. Huey, maybe it's not as bad as it looks." "Frenchie, it is worse. Vought's lawyers filing for emergency detention order. You have maybe 6 hours." And finally, from a number he didn't recognize. "Times Square. Tomorrow night. Midnight. Be there. We'll be ready. Your friendly neighborhood conspiracy theorists." Rimuru looked up at Vought Tower. Lights blazed from every floor. Homelander would be watching, Stillwell already planning her next move. 62% of America thought he was a threat. Maybe it was time to prove them right. 24 hours until New Year's Eve. Rimuru stood on the roof of an abandoned factory in Queens, watching the Manhattan's skyline. The city glittered like a circuit board, millions of lights against the winter dark. Somewhere in that sprawl, people were preparing to celebrate, to gather in Times Square, count down to midnight, believe in fresh starts. And Vought was preparing to kill him on live television. "Penny for your thoughts?" Huey climbed onto the roof, carrying 2 cups of coffee. He offered one to Rimuru, who took it out of politeness despite not needing to eat or drink. "Just thinking about my city," Rimuru said. "Tempest. It's probably winter there too. My people will be celebrating the year-end festival soon, exchanging gifts, telling stories, being together. You miss them. Every day." Rimuru sipped the coffee. It was terrible. "But I can't go back yet. Great Sage says the dimensional barrier is still unstable. Forcing it would cause catastrophic damage to both worlds." "How long?" "Weeks, maybe months." Rimuru set the cup down. "Too long to let Vought continue what they're doing." Huey leaned against a ventilation unit. "Butcher's got the final plan. You're not going to like it." "I already don't like it." "Yeah, but this is worse." Huey pulled out a tablet, showed Rimuru schematics. Times Square on New Year's Eve. 2 million people. The 7 doing their traditional countdown appearance. And according to Frenchie's source inside Vought, they're planning something big. The schematic showed Times Square from above, every camera angle, every exit, every position of security and crowd control. And in the center, highlighted in red, a platform where the 7 would stand. "They're going to provoke you," Huey explained. "Get you to attack on camera, in front of millions of witnesses. Then Homelander kills you, publicly, becomes the hero who stopped the dangerous foreign threat. Except I'm not going to attack. Doesn't matter. They'll edit footage to make it look like you did, or plant evidence, or just lie and dare anyone to prove them wrong." Huey's voice was bitter. "That's what they do. That's what they always do." Rimuru studied the schematic. "So what's Butcher's plan?" "Beat them at their own game." Huey zoomed in on underground access points. "We leak the real Sage Grove footage, not to mainstream media, they're owned by Vought anyway, but to independent journalists, conspiracy theorists, anyone with a platform. Time the release for midnight when everyone's watching. They'll claim it's fake." "Yeah, but we'll have something they can't fake." Huey looked up. "You. Live. Healing people on camera, showing what you can actually do, being the hero they claim you're not." Rimuru considered it. "And when Homelander attacks me for it, you defend yourself. But this time with context, with proof, with millions of witnesses seeing him strike first. People see what they want to see. Some will, Huey's voice hardened, but not everyone. Robin believed in real heroes, people who did good because it was right, not because it was profitable. She's not the only one. There are people out there waiting for someone to prove heroes can be real. That's a lot of faith in humanity. You put faith in monsters. Huey gestured at Rimuru. Built a whole nation around the idea that monsters could be good. Why can't humans? Rimuru smiled despite himself. You make a fair point. Footsteps on the stairs. Butcher emerged onto the roof, MM and Frenchie behind him. Kimiko appeared from a different direction. She'd been on perimeter watch. Council of War, Butcher announced. Everyone's here. Let's talk about how we're going to fuck Vought's new year. They spread out maps and tablets and equipment on the roof. Phase 1, MM began. Rimuru enters Times Square at 11:30 p.m. Blends with the crowd. We need you looking human and harmless. I can do that. Phase 2, Frenchie grinned. At 11:45 we release the files. All of them. Sage Grove footage, Compound Vi records, financial documents showing payoffs and cover-ups. Simultaneous upload to 47 independent platforms. Vought's lawyers will shut them down, Rimuru said. In America, yes. But we upload globally. Russia, China, European Union, South America. By the time Vought's lawyers file in one jurisdiction, it's already spreading in 20 others. Frenchie's grin widened. The internet is very hard to censor completely. Phase 3, Butcher continued. At 11:50, you make yourself known. Get on that platform where the 7 are standing. Offer to heal anyone in the crowd who's been harmed by Compound Fee. Do it publicly. Show everyone what a real hero looks like. Homelander will attack. Guaranteed. Butcher nodded. Which brings us to Phase 4. You fight him, but not like Brooklyn. This time, you humiliate him. Show everyone he's not invincible. Break his mystique. Without killing him, Rimuru clarified. Without killing him, Butcher agreed reluctantly. Just really fucking hurt his feelings. MM pulled up video footage, Homelander's past appearances, his body language, his tells. He's got a god complex. Needs to be loved, adored. The second you prove you're stronger, he'll escalate, get reckless, make mistakes. And we film everything, Huey added. From multiple angles, phones, cameras, drones, so they can't edit it, can't spin it, just raw footage of what actually happens. Kimiko signed something. Frenchie translated. She asks, what if people still don't believe? What if Vought convinces them you're the villain anyway? Rimuru looked at each of them. These broken, angry, grieving people who'd lost so much to Vought's machine, who could have run, hidden, given up, but instead chose to fight. Then at least we tried, he said. At least we gave people a choice. That's more than Vought's ever done. Fucking A! Butcher raised his flask and toast. To giving people choices, and to ruining Stillwell's new year. They drank. Even Rimuru pretended to sip his terrible coffee. One more thing, MM said quietly. The patients from Sage Grove. The federal government is moving them tomorrow. New facility. Vought doesn't know where yet, but they're looking. If this goes south, if you don't make it out of Times Square, I'll make it out. But if you don't, MM pressed, someone needs to protect those people. Keep them safe. Rimuru nodded. I've placed tracking markers on each of them. Magical signature only I can sense. Wherever they go, I can find them. And if something happens to me... He concentrated, and a small sphere of compressed magic appeared in his palm. This contains coordinates and protection protocols. Give it to Marcus Webb. He'll know what to do. MM took the sphere carefully. It glowed faintly in his dark hands. You really think we can win this? Huey asked quietly. Win? Rimuru looked at the Manhattan skyline. No. Vought's too big, too entrenched. This won't destroy them, but it'll wound them. Show the world they can bleed. That's how you beat giants. Not in one battle, but in 1,000 cuts. Poetic, Butcher muttered. I prefer my approach. Kick them in the balls until they stop moving. That works too. They spent the next hours refining the plan. Escape routes, contingencies, what to do if Homelander brought backup, if the military intervened, if Vought deployed experimental weapons. By dawn, they'd covered every scenario they could imagine, and a few they hoped wouldn't happen. That afternoon, Rimuru returned to the federal facility one last time. The guards let him through. His voluntary cooperation agreement granted limited access. He found the patients in a common room, packing their belongings for the transfer. Marcus looked up as Rimuru entered. You're really doing it? Times Square? I'm really doing it. That's suicide. Probably. Rimuru sat beside him. But someone has to show people the truth. Might as well be me. Because you're not from here, Marcus said quietly. Because you can leave any time. Go back to your perfect world with your perfect city. My world isn't perfect. We have problems, conflicts, people who want power and don't care who they hurt. Rimuru looked at his hands. But we try to solve those problems without creating new victims. That's the difference. Timothy approached, carrying a small notebook. I drew this. For you. He showed Rimuru a sketch, surprisingly good, showing Rimuru in slime form surrounded by the patients he'd saved. So you remember us, when you go home. Rimuru's chest tightened. I won't forget. Any of you. Sarah joined them, electricity crackling faintly around her fingers. You gave us our lives back. What can we do to help? Stay safe, Rimuru said. Heal. Be witnesses. When this is over, when people ask what Vought really does, you tell them. You show them what happened at Sage Grove. They won't believe us, Marcus said. Some won't, but some will. That's enough. He spent another hour with them, healing where he could, offering encouragement, trying to give them something Vought never had, hope that the Ings could be better. As he left, Marcus called out, Rimuru! He turned. Don't die tomorrow, please. We need people like you in this world. Rimuru smiled. I'll do my best. That night, Rimuru stood alone on the factory roof one last time. Great Sage ran calculations. Probability of success, 34%. Probability of survival, 67%. Probability of achieving any meaningful change, unknown. Not great odds, Rimuru muttered. Recommendation: return to home dimension. Await stabilization. Avoid unnecessary conflict. I know, but I can't. Query: why? Rimuru thought of Timothy's drawing, Marcus's gratitude, the screams from Sage Grove's basement, Huey's faith in real heroes. Because it's the right thing to do, he said. And because if I don't, who will? Great Sage didn't respond. Didn't need to. In the distance, Times Square's lights blazed against the night sky. In 24 hours, millions would gather there. To celebrate, to hope, to count down to a new year. And Rimuru would show them what heroism actually meant. Or die trying. December 31st, 11:27 p.m. Times Square writhed with humanity. 2 million people packed into the intersection, shoulder to shoulder, a living organism of celebration and noise. Giant screens blazed from every building, counting down the final minutes of the year. Music pounded from speakers the size of cars. The air smelled of sweat, alcohol, hot dogs, and anticipation. Rimuru moved through the crowd in human form, wearing a simple jacket and jeans Huey had provided. Anonymous. Just another face in the sea of faces, all turned upward toward the crystal ball suspended above one Times Square. Can you hear me? MM's voice crackled in the earpiece. Clearly, Rimuru murmured. Good. You're 300 meters from the main platform. The 7 haven't appeared yet, but they're backstage. Homelander, Queen Maeve, A-Train, Black Noir, and Starlight. Starlight. Rimuru had heard of her, newest member of the 7, supposedly idealistic. He'd seen footage of her interview, the way her smile didn't quite mask her discomfort. Frenchie, status? MM continued. Files are ready to deploy. Frenchie's voice joined the channel. Waiting for the signal. Butcher? In position. Got eyes on the platform. This is bloody insane, you know that, right? Noted, Rimuru said quietly. He pushed deeper into the crowd. People jostled him, spilled drinks on his shoes, shouted in his ear. Normal people, families, couples, groups of friends celebrating. None of them knew what was about to happen. A woman stumbled against him, drunk, laughing. Sorry. Hey, you see the 7 yet? Not yet, Rimuru steadied her. I love Homelander. He's so brave, so strong. Her eyes were glassy. Not like those fake heroes. He's real. Rimuru didn't respond, just helped her back to her friends and kept moving. The platform loomed ahead, a massive stage erected in the center of the square, surrounded by security barriers and guards. Giant screens on either side showed Vought promotional footage. Behind the platform, a green room where the real action waited. Rimuru's enhanced senses picked up conversations from inside. Think he'll actually show? That was Starlight's voice, young, uncertain. He'll show. Homelander, confident, eager. He can't help himself. Hero complex. And if he doesn't? A-Train. Then we send the deepfake video anyway. Say he attacked civilians off camera. Either way, he's finished tonight. Madeline Stillwell's voice, cold calculation wrapped in velvet. Rimuru's fists clenched. They'd already won in their minds. Already written the story. Time to change the narrative. 11:45, MM announced. Frenchie, light it up. With pleasure. Across the internet, 47 independent platforms simultaneously received anonymous uploads, video files, documents, financial records, medical reports, all time-stamped, verified, backed by metadata that would take weeks to properly analyze. The first journalist to notice was a conspiracy theorist with 300,000 YouTube subscribers. He went live immediately. Holy shit. Holy shit. You guys seeing this? Vought, Sage Grove, they're experimenting on people. I've got video, I've got another platform. A whistleblower site in Sweden. Breaking. Leaked documents show Vought International conducting unauthorized human trials. Twitter. 1,000 anonymous accounts posting identical links. Hashtags spawning. Sage Grove. Truth. Vought lies. Compound V secrets. The algorithms caught it, flagged it, started suppressing it. But the internet was faster. Screenshots spread, downloads multiplied, people saved, shared, reposted. In Russia, in China, in Brazil, in countries where Vaught's lawyers had no immediate reach. The story went viral in 17 languages in 4 minutes. In Times Square, phones buzzed. People checked notifications, frowned. What's this about Vought? Some kind of leak. Probably fake. Vought doesn't... The giant screens flickered. Every screen in Times Square. All simultaneously. The Vought LAN. August vanished, replaced by video footage. A basement room. A young woman strapped to a gurney, screaming. Blue liquid in an IV. A doctor making notes. Expression bored. The crowd went silent. More footage. Marcus's transformation. Timothy's bones growing outside his skin. Sarah convulsing with electricity. And a timestamp. A location. Sage Grove Center. What the fuck? Someone shouted. The screens cut to documents. Financial records showing payoffs to coroners, police, judges. NDAs signed by grieving families. Cover-up after cover-up, laid bare. Then the footage cut to Madeline Stillwell's face. Not from the interview, from an internal Vought meeting leaked, her voice cold and clinical. Acceptable loss rate is 30%. Anything higher impacts quarterly projections. Dispose of failures discreetly, no paper trail. The crowd erupted. Confusion, anger, disbelief. It's fake. No way Vought would. My cousin was at Sage Grove. Said it was a hospital. Said they helped him. Backstage, Madeline Stillwell's phone exploded with calls. She answered the first. How the fuck did they? She listened. Her face went pale. All of them. Every platform. On stage, the countdown continued. 11:47. The ball descended slowly. But nobody was watching it anymore. Homelander burst from the green room, cape billowing, that PR smile locked in place. The crowd's roar was muted, confused, half the people cheering by reflex, half staring at their phones in shock. America, Homelander's voice boomed through speakers. Happy New Year. The Seven are honored to... Is it true? Someone shouted from the crowd. Sage Grove? Homelander's smile froze. There's been some fake news circulating, lies designed to... I saw the video! That woman was screaming! Doctored footage, Homelander said smoothly. Our lawyers are already... What about the financial records? Show us proof it's fake! The crowd was turning, not entirely. Maybe 20% believed the leaks. But that was enough. Enough to disrupt the narrative. Enough to make people question. Homelander's eyes scanned the crowd, looking for Rimuru, knowing he was here. Where are you? He muttered under his breath. Come out, you fucking coward. Rimuru stepped onto the platform. He didn't climb the stairs, didn't push through security, just appeared, phasing through the barriers like they were mist. The crowd gasped. Cameras swiveled. Hello, Homelander, Rimuru said quietly. Homelander spun. His smile widened into something feral. There you are. The other seven tensed. Queen Maeve's hand went to her sword. Black Noir drew weapons. A-Train vibrated with nervous energy. And Starlight, young, blonde, genuinely confused, just stared. Is it true? Starlight asked. Sage Grove. The experiments. Is it true? Yes, Rimuru said simply. He turned to the crowd, to the cameras. Everything you just saw is true. Vought experiments on people. Creates heroes artificially with a drug called Compound Phi. And when the experiments fail, they hide the bodies. He's lying, Homelander shouted. He's a terrorist trying to... I can prove it. Rimuru raised his voice in. Is anyone here sick? Injured? Suffering from complications related to Compound V? Silence. Then, hesitantly, a hand raised. A man in his 30s, pushed forward by friends. I was in a trial. Years ago. They said it was safe, but now I get seizures, headaches. Doctors can't explain it. Come here, Rimuru invited. Security moved to block him, but the crowd surged, pushed the man forward. He climbed onto the platform, nervous, unsure. Rimuru placed a hand on his shoulder. Golden light flowed from Rimuru's palm, visible even to normal eyes. The man gasped. His body spasmed once, then relaxed. Color returned to his face. The perpetual tension in his shoulders eased. What? What did you do? Removed the unstable Compound 5 from your system. Healed the neurological damage. Rimuru looked at the cameras. This is what Vought should do. Help people. Heal people. Instead, they experiment. Profit. Discard. The man touched his head, wonder on his face. The headaches. They're gone. They're actually gone. More hands raised, more people pushing forward. Me! I have a daughter! My son was in a trial. Please, I've been sick for years. Homelander's heat vision started glowing. Enough! His voice dropped to a growl. Enough of this fucking circus, he fired. Rimuru caught the heat vision in his palm, absorbed it, channeled it harmlessly into the ground. The platform scorched, but didn't ignite. The crowd screamed, scattered. Cameras captured everything. You just attacked an unarmed man, Rimuru said quietly. On live television, in front of millions of witnesses. You're not a man. Homelander rose into the air, cape billowing. You're a threat, an invader, and I'm going to do what heroes do. He smiled. I'm going to save America from you. The other 7 spread out, surrounding the platform. Queen Maeve reluctant, but obedient. Black Noir efficient and silent. A-Train nervous, but ready. Starlight hanging back, clearly conflicted. Rimuru looked at them, at the crowd watching, at the cameras recording, at the moment that would define how the world saw him. Then let's show them what you really are, he said, and the battle began. Homelander struck first, not at Rimuru, at the platform supports. Heat vision sliced through steel beams, severing them cleanly. The massive structure groaned, tilted, began to collapse. Hundreds of people still clustered around it, trying to flee, trampling each other in panic. Rimuru moved faster. His body expanded, slime form spreading like a net beneath the falling platform. He caught it, tons of metal and wood and electronics settling onto his distributed mass. People screamed, expecting to be crushed. Instead, the platform stabilized, held by translucent blue gel that glowed faintly in the camera lights. "Run!" Rimuru shouted. "Everyone, move!" They did, scrambling off the platform, pushing through the crowd. Rimuru held it steady until the last person cleared, then let it fall. It crashed harmlessly, the impact absorbed by his body. He reformed into human shape as Homelander descended. "Predictable," Homelander sneered. "Always saving people, always the hero. It makes you weak." "It makes me human." "You're not human." Homelander's fist connected with Rimuru's jaw, a supersonic punch that would have liquefied skull and brain. Rimuru's head snapped back, absorbed the impact, reformed. He didn't even stumble. "Neither are you," Rimuru said quietly. "But I still care about people. What's your excuse?" Homelander roared and attacked in earnest. They moved too fast for normal eyes to track. Blurs of motion, shockwaves radiating from each collision. Rimuru kept the fight contained, maneuvering away from civilians. Homelander kept trying to force it toward the crowd, using them as leverage. A-Train joined in, vibrating at super speed, landing hits from unexpected angles. Rimuru caught him on the third pass, held him by the throat. "You killed someone," Rimuru said. "Robin, Huey's girlfriend. Do you even remember her name?" A-Train's eyes widened. "How do you—" Rimuru threw him, not hard enough to kill, but hard enough to remove him from the fight. A-Train crashed through a hot dog cart, groaning. Black Noir approached with tactical precision, throwing knives aimed at pressure points, eyes, joints. Rimuru deflected each one, then caught Noir's wrist mid-throw. "You don't want to do this," Rimuru said. "I can see it. You're just following orders." Noir hesitated, just for a second. Then, Homelander's voice cut through. "Kill him or you're off the team." Noir attacked harder. Rimuru disabled him with a pressure point strike. Non-lethal, but enough to drop him unconscious. Queen Maeve circled, sword drawn, but didn't engage. Her eyes tracked the cameras, the crowd, the escape routes. "You're not going to help them?" Homelander demanded. "I'm assessing the situation," Maeve said carefully. "You're being a coward." Homelander's heat vision swept toward Maeve. She dodged, but the beam cut through a nearby food stand. The propane tank exploded, fireball blooming. Rimuru was there before the flames could spread. Water manipulation, pulling moisture from the air, smothering the fire before it reached the fleeing crowd. "You're destroying your own city," Rimuru shouted at Homelander, "hurting your own people." "They're not my people," Homelander's mask finally cracked. "They're cattle. Worshippers. They only matter because they make me matter." The cameras caught it all. Every word. Every manic expression. Starlight watched from the platform's edge, face pale. Oh my God. He actually believes that. The crowd was still fleeing, but phones stayed up. Recording, streaming. The world watching as America's greatest hero revealed his true nature. Homelander noticed the cameras, noticed the horrified expressions, and something in him broke completely. "You want to see a monster?" His voice dropped to something cold, alien. "I'll show you a monster." He flew straight up, 200 feet, 300, high enough that his heat vision could sweep across buildings, crowds, entire city blocks. "Come down!" Rimuru launched himself skyward. "You're going to—" Homelander fired. Not at Rimuru, at the crowd below. A sustained beam of thermal energy aimed at the densest cluster of people. Rimuru intercepted it with his own body. The heat vision struck his chest, and he activated every defensive ability simultaneously. Thermal resistance, spatial barrier, physical nullification. The beam pushed him backward, scorching the air, but didn't penetrate. Below, Opal stared up in shock. They'd been seconds from incineration. "Move!" Rimuru shouted down. "Everyone, clear the area! Now!" The crowd broke. Real panic now, surging toward side streets. Police tried to maintain order but were overwhelmed. Stampedes forming at choke points. Rimuru couldn't let go of the beam. If he did, Homelander would redirect it to the fleeing crowds. So he held it, absorbing punishment meant for thousands. Homelander increased the intensity. His eyes blazed white-hot. Blood vessels burst in his face from the strain, but he kept firing, kept trying to burn through Rimuru to prove he was stronger, better, more powerful. "Just die!" Homelander screamed. "Why won't you just die?" "Because people need me," Rimuru shouted back. "Because giving up means they die. Because that's what heroes do." Something shifted in Homelander's expression. Not remorse, not understanding. Envy. "I'm the hero!" He poured everything into the beam. "Me, not you, not you." Rimuru's form began to destabilize. The thermal energy was too much, even for him. His slime body started to glow, superheated, approaching critical mass. Warning: core temperature reaching dangerous levels. Recommend immediate dispersal. "Can't," Rimuru grunted. "People below." Alternative: redirect energy. Channel through dimensional barrier. Risk level: high. "Do it." Rimuru's body became a conduit. The heat vision entered through his chest and exited through a portal that opened behind him. A tear in space that dumped the excess energy into the empty void between dimensions. The air around him shimmered. Reality bent. For a moment, two worlds touched, and anyone looking could see through the portal into Rimuru's home dimension. A city of strange architecture. Monsters and humans walking together. Peace. The crowd stopped running, stared. "It's real," someone whispered. He was telling the truth. The portal collapsed. Rimuru reformed fully, steam rising from his body. Homelander stopped firing. His heat vision flickered, exhausted. He hung in the air, breathing hard, eyes wide with disbelief. "You're still standing," he whispered. "How are you still standing?" "Because I'm fighting for something real." Rimuru floated closer. "And you're just fighting to feel important." Homelander's face twisted, childlike, lost, then hardened into rage. He dove, not at Rimuru, at Starlight. The young hero barely had time to react before Homelander grabbed her throat, lifted her off the platform. "You were watching those leaks," he hissed. "I saw you. You were believing them, doubting me, your leader." Starlight clawed at his hand, light powers flickering uselessly. "Homelander, please. I should kill you. Right here. Show everyone what happens to traitors." "Let her go." Rimuru's voice was absolutely calm. Homelander looked at him. smiled. Make me. Rimuru crossed the distance in an instant, his hand wrapped around Homelander's wrist, the one holding Starlight. Last chance, Rimuru said quietly. Let her go. Walk away. Get help. Help? Homelander laughed. From who? Therapists? Vought's PR team? There's no help for what I am. There's always help, if you choose it. For a moment, Homelander's expression flickered, almost vulnerable, almost human. I was 5 years old, he whispered. In a lab. They put me in an oven to test my heat resistance. I screamed for 3 hours. Nobody came. Rimuru's grip loosened fractionally. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Homelander's smile returned cold and broken. Be afraid. He released Starlight, threw her toward the ground. Rimuru had to choose, hold Homelander or save her. He saved her. Caught Starlight mid-fall, set her down gently, turned back to Homelander. The soup was already moving toward the thickest cluster of remaining crowd, heat vision charging. Rimuru activated time stop. The world froze. Homelander hung in mid-air, heat vision half-formed, the crowd motionless. Even sound ceased. Rimuru had seconds, maybe 5, before the ability's energy cost became unsustainable. He could kill Homelander right now, end the threat, save thousands of future victims. One strike, through the heart, quick, merciful. His hand rose, hardened into a blade. Recommendation: execute target. Threat level: extreme. Rehabilitation: probability: minimal. Rimuru's hand trembled. He saw Homelander's face, the rage, the pain, the child who'd been tortured in a lab, who'd never known genuine love, who'd been created as a product and told he was a god. A victim who'd become a monster. Just like Rimuru had been. Once. Damn it, Rimuru whispered. He lowered his hand, moved behind Homelander, placed his palm against the base of the soup's skull, and activated memory alteration. Not to erase memories, to add one. A fabrication, yes, but a necessary one. A memory of this fight ending differently, of Rimuru escaping, of Homelander saving the crowd, of being the hero. A kind lie to a broken child in a monster's body. Time resumed. Homelander blinked, confused. His heat vision fizzled. He looked around, disoriented. Where did he go? The crowd murmured, confused. Some swore they'd seen Rimuru just seconds ago. Homelander landed, stumbling. I saved you. Didn't I? I fought him off. Saved everyone. Queen Maeve approached cautiously. Homelander, are you... I'm fine, he snapped. I'm the hero. I saved them. But his eyes were uncertain, lost. Rimuru watched from a rooftop 3 blocks away, invisible in slime form. He'd spared Homelander, given him an out, a chance to believe his own lies a little longer. Was it the right choice? Probably not, but it was a human choice, and that mattered. January 1st, 3:47 a.m. The safe house was quiet. Rimuru sat on a worn couch while the boys processed what had happened. News coverage played on mute. Footage of Times Square, the battle, Homelander's breakdown, the portal to another world. Every channel showed the same images, the same questions. 73% of viewers believe the Sage Grove leaks are authentic, read from his tablet. Vought's stock dropped 42%, in overnight trading. Congress announced emergency hearings. The FBI raided 3 Vought facilities in the past hour. We actually did it, Huey said quietly. We hurt them. Wounded them, Butcher corrected, taking a drink. Not the same as killing. Vought's got lawyers, politicians, contingency plans. They'll survive this. But they're exposed, Frenchie pointed out. The whole world saw Homelander lose control, saw the proof, saw Rimuru's world through that portal. Kimiko signed something, Frenchie translated. She asks, "Why did you let him live? Homelander, you could have ended it." Rimuru looked at his hands. Because killing him wouldn't fix anything. He's a symptom, not the disease. Vought made him. The system made him. Killing one broken god doesn't stop them from making another. So what? We just let him walk around? Butcher's voice was sharp. Wait for him to snap again? Kill more people? No. We make it impossible for Vought to protect him. Rimuru pulled up his own tablet, showed them files. I didn't just fight him tonight. While he was distracted, I placed tracking markers on every member of the 7. Magical signatures your technology can't detect. Wherever they go, whatever they do, I'll know. You're leaving, said. It wasn't a question. The dimensional barrier is stabilizing. Great Sage says I can force a crossing in 48 hours without causing catastrophic damage. Rimuru looked at each of them. My people need me. My city. I've been gone too long. But you'll watch? Huey asked. Even from another world? You'll keep monitoring Homelander? I will. And if he becomes an extinction-level threat, I'll come back. Rimuru's voice hardened. But I'm trusting you to handle the smaller battles. Pretty words don't change reality. No, but actions do, and you've taken action. Rimuru moved to the window, looked out at the pre-dawn darkness. This world isn't like mine. You don't have magic, don't have monsters you can unite against a common enemy. Your battles are harder, more complicated, but that doesn't mean they're not worth fighting. Silence. Then Huey stood, extended his hand. Thank you. For everything. For believing we could make a difference. Rimuru shook it. You already were making a difference. I just helped accelerate things. One by one, the others stood. Even Butcher, grudgingly. You're all right, Butcher said. For a soup. If you ever want to come back and properly finish what we started, I'll know where to find you. That afternoon, Rimuru visited the patients one last time. They'd been moved to a new facility, truly secure this time, with federal oversight and independent medical staff, no Vought influence, no corporate interests. Marcus was in physical therapy, relearning his body's limits now that he was human-sized again. You're leaving, he said when Rimuru entered. Tomorrow night, the portal will be stable enough, and we'll never see you again. Probably not. Rimuru sat beside him. But you don't need me anymore. You're healing. You have testimony to give, evidence to provide. You're going to help make sure this never happens to anyone else. What if they don't listen? What if Vought buries us like they bury everything? Then you speak louder. You find allies. You don't give up. Rimuru placed a hand on his shoulder. I built a nation from nothing, Marcus. Started with just me and a handful of goblins nobody else wanted. Now it's a thriving federation of thousands. You know how? How? One person at a time. One connection. One act of kindness. One refusal to accept that things can't change. Rimuru smiled. You survived. Sage Grove. You survived becoming a monster and coming back. You're stronger than you know. Marcus's eyes glistened. I'm scared. Good. Fear means you understand the stakes. Just don't let it stop you. Rimuru visited each patient, gave final healing treatments, offered encouragement, left them with protection charms, subtle magical markers that would alert him if they were ever in mortal danger. Timothy gave him the drawing he'd made. So you don't forget us. I could never forget you, Rimuru promised. That night, a visitor came to the safe house. Queen Maeve stood in the doorway, civilian clothes, no weapons, hands raised. I'm alone, she said. Just want to talk. Butcher had a gun pointed at her. Talk fast. Maeve ignored him, looked at Rimuru. You could have killed him, Homelander. I saw you hesitate. Why? Because I'm not an executioner. You should be. Maeve's voice was raw. You don't know what he's done, what he's capable of, the people he's hurt. I know exactly what he's capable of. I fought him, watched him try to murder civilians out of spite. Rimuru met her eyes. But I also know he's a victim. Vought made him. You all know it. You've all been complicit. Maeve flinched. I tried to stop it, early on. Tried to be a real hero. What happened? They threatened everything I cared about. My family, my girlfriend. They showed me how easily they could destroy anyone I loved. She laughed bitterly. So I played along, did the photo shoots, smiled for cameras, pretended I came to warn you. Stillwell's planning something. I don't know what, but she's desperate. Vaught's hemorrhaging money and credibility. Desperate corporations do desperate things. Let them plan. I'll be gone in 24 hours. And the patients? The boys? Everyone you're leaving behind? Rimuru pulled out a small crystal sphere, compressed magical energy, glowing faintly. If Vought threatens them, this will activate. Send a signal across dimensions. I'll come back. And next time, I won't hesitate. Maeve took the sphere carefully. You're giving this to me? Why? Because you want to be a hero. Really be one. This is your chance. Rimuru looked at her. Protect them. Use your position inside the Seven to watch for threats. And when the time comes to choose between Vought and doing the right thing, choose right, Maeve finished. She tucked the sphere into her jacket. I don't know if I'm brave enough. You're here. That's already brave. Maeve nodded, turned to leave, paused at the door. Your world. The one we saw through the portal. Is it really like that? Monsters and humans together? Peace? It's not perfect. We have conflicts, problems. But yes, we try. Every day. That sounds nice, Maeve said quietly. Then she was gone. January 2nd, 11:57 p.m. Rimuru stood on the roof of the factory where this had all begun. The boys were there. The patients had sent messages of gratitude. Queen Maeve had texted coordinates where she'd hidden the emergency crystal. And across the city, in Vought Tower, Stillwell was probably planning revenge. But Rimuru's time was done. Great Sage had stabilized the dimensional barrier. The portal was ready. You sure about this? Butcher asked. Leaving unfinished business? The business is never finished, Rimuru said. There will always be another Vought, another Homelander, another corrupt system. But you don't change the world in one battle. You change it in 1,000 small choices. Philosophical bastard, Butcher muttered, but he extended his hand. Rimuru shook it, then MM's, Frenchie's, Huey's last. Thank you, Huey said, for showing us what a real hero looks like. Thank you for reminding me why it matters. Kimiko signed something. Frenchie smiled. She says, come back someday, when things are better, so we can celebrate properly. I'd like that, Rimuru said. He stepped back, concentrated. Reality rippled around him as Great Sage calculated the dimensional coordinates. A portal opened, a tear in space showing the familiar skyline of Rimuru City, stars of his homeworld above. Voices called from the other side. Lord Rimuru, you're back! Rimuru-sama! We've been so worried. His people, his friends, his home. Rimuru looked back